In today's special video, we are going to explore 9 things you should never say to your children. It may sound simple, but you will be surprised because some statements that seem harmless, seemingly honest for the best, can create emotional wounds that children carry for many years. The last item on this list may open your eyes because it is not about what you say, but about what you should choose to remain silent about. But before we begin, I want you to pay close attention to this story, as it will help you understand the biggest lesson of the entire video. Carmen, a 40-year-old mother, always believed that absolute honesty was the key to keeping her family united. With 2 teenage children, she lived by the motto, no secrets, no problems. She thought that what adults know, children should also know. She believed the best way to raise children was to open every door and turn every page of her life for them to read as if reading an open book. But what happens when frankness becomes a double-edged sword? What happens when adults share too much, too soon, or too heavily? A family secret that Carmen accidentally revealed changed her life and her children's lives forever. That was the moment Carmen realized that some pages in the book of life are not meant for children to read. There are statements that should not be spoken, and there are truths that should only be revealed at the right time. If you want to know what these are and how to prevent seemingly harmless words from hurting your children without you even realizing it, stay until the end of the video. Let's begin with the first thing you should never say to your children. Have you ever wondered how just one number in a bank account can change a child's emotions? It sounds unbelievable, but that is exactly what happened to Carmen. One evening, after a long and stressful day, Carmen accidentally told her 2 children that the family was facing financial difficulties. She talked about unpaid bills, unstable work, and dwindling savings. She thought she was being honest. She believed her children should know to understand and empathize, but she forgot one important thing. Children do not have the emotional tools to handle financial burdens that even adults find exhausting. The very next day, Carmen noticed that the atmosphere in the house had changed. Her son became quieter, easily startled, and had trouble sleeping. Her daughter started trying to save every penny and refused to buy items she previously liked. Carmen was stunned. She could not understand why a small statement could carry such weight. Imagine finances as a pressure cooker. If you open the lid at the right time, everything is safe. But if you open it when the pressure is high, everything can explode. Children are standing right next to the pot, and they do not know how to protect themselves. Psychologist Juan Perez once said that young children cannot process financial information because their brains are not yet developed enough to analyze economic anxiety. A study from the University of Cambridge also showed that children begin to form habits regarding money from the age of 7, but that does not mean they are ready to face fears related to finances. Carmen finally realized this. Instead of saying, "We have no money," a better approach is to say, "We need to prioritize what is important." Instead of talking about debt, teach children about saving. Instead of speaking about a crisis, talk about planning. This is not deception, it is protection. Children need stability, not numbers that steal away their childhood. Epictetus once said that you should not place your burden on shoulders that cannot carry it. By moderating what you say about money, you not only help your child feel secure, but also help yourself become a stronger anchor. If you think sharing financial matters with your child is troublesome, get ready for the second point, because it is more subtle and dangerous. It is pulling children into emotional conflicts between spouses or adults. You may not intend to do this, but a single uncontrolled statement is enough to make children carry a burden they should never have to bear. Imagine your home as a ship setting sail. Parents are the captains steering the course. Children are small sailors who rely on the safety of the ship. But what happens if the 2 captains start arguing right in front of the sailors? Chaos, of course. That chaos happened in Carmen's family. One evening, Carmen and her husband argued about work schedules, responsibilities, and who was too busy to care for the children. Everything happened while the 2 children were still awake. After the argument ended, Carmen went to her son and vented, "Your father is never home. I am so tired." She did not realize that those words were like dropping a heavy anchor on the child's heart. In the following days, both children changed. Her son became quiet and anxious. Her daughter clung to her mother as if afraid she would disappear. They did not fully understand what had happened, only that the ship they were on no longer felt safe. Researcher John Gottman, renowned for his work on marriage, emphasizes that when children are pulled into adult conflicts, they feel divided, anxious, and lose trust in the family structure. Children cannot distinguish between temporary or long-term disputes. They only know that their world is shaking. The solution is not to hide all emotions. The solution is to protect children properly. Carmen decided to apply a closed-door rule. Serious disagreements are resolved in private. When children sense something is wrong, Carmen chooses to speak the truth in an appropriate way. We are having a small disagreement, but we are working it out together. Epictetus once said that we cannot control the world outside, but we can control how we present ourselves. When you remain calm in front of your children, you are sending them the message that even if the ship rocks, their parents are still steering it. That is the sense of security children need. It is something you should never take away from their lives. The third point is a mistake many parents make without realizing it. It is sharing too much about your past mistakes with the hope that children will learn from them. It may sound reasonable, but in reality, it is more dangerous than you think because children do not view stories the way adults do. They do not analyze the lesson. They look straight at who you are. One peaceful Sunday evening, Carmen's family was having dinner when her older son Alejandro shared that he did not know which career path to choose. Wanting to encourage him, Carmen decided to tell a story from her college days. "When I was your age," as she began, "I once wanted to drop out. I even forged my parents' signature to switch majors without anyone knowing." Before the story ended, both children looked at their mother with wide eyes. Not admiration, but shock. Alejandro snapped, asking, "You tell us to be honest, but you did that?" That moment felt like their entire world had been turned upside down. In an instant, the model mother who taught them right and wrong every day became someone who broke the rules she expected them to follow. Psychologist Carl Jung once said that children are influenced by both the words and actions of their parents. But in conflicts, they always believe the actions. When Carmen recounted her mistakes in such detail, she did not convey the lesson. She only broke the image her children relied on to guide their understanding of right and wrong. The issue is not about sharing. The issue lies in the degree and timing. Some stories need to be edited, not to hide the truth, but to protect the child's character development. Carmen realized that instead of recounting all her mistakes, she could say, "I once doubted myself, but I learned that honesty is always the right choice." The children would understand the lesson without being hurt. Stoicism teaches that the past exists to serve the present, not to create additional burdens. When you share in the right way, children not only avoid repeating mistakes, but also see that adults grow every day. The fourth point is a familiar trap that almost every parent falls into. It is comparing your child to other children. It may seem harmless. Many parents even believe that comparisons motivate. But for a child, those comparisons are not motivation. They are wounds. Carmen understood this in the most painful way. One afternoon, while watching a neighbor's child play soccer, a friend beside her exclaimed, "That boy is really good." Carmen subconsciously smiled and replied, "I wish Alejandro had half of that talent." She thought it was just a casual remark. But Alejandro was standing right behind her, and his eyes fell for a brief moment. That evening, Alejandro skipped soccer practice. He said it was because he felt bored, but Carmen sensed that something deeper was going on. Psychologist Dr. Haim Janot once warned that comparisons are a hidden form of judgment, making children believe their own value is lower than others. A study at Stanford University also showed that the more children are compared, the more likely they are to lose confidence, fear challenges, and avoid areas that parents have used as benchmarks for comparison. Looking back, Carmen realized the mistake lay in the fact that comparisons do not help children improve. They make children feel they are never good enough. The only way for a child to grow is to measure themselves against their own progress. Carmen began to change. She said, "Do you remember your first day playing soccer? You could barely run, but now you have really improved." Stoic philosophy teaches that every person has their own journey, their own rhythm, and their own pace of development. Comparing your child to others only pulls them off that path. If you want your child to grow up confident, let them be themselves, not someone else's shadow. Imagine standing before your children like a solid mountain, always strong, always right, always calm. A beautiful image, but also full of pressure, not just for you, but for your children. Because when parents try to be perfect, children think they are not allowed to make mistakes. Carmen once believed that a good mother is someone who always controls everything. She never let her children see her tired or disappointed. She always kept a smile even when her mind was troubled. But one day, that perfect facade cracked in an unexpected way. While preparing dinner, Carmen accidentally dropped a pan on the floor and blurted out something she had never let her children hear. Both children froze, looking at their mother with wide eyes. Not because they were shocked by her words, but because, for the first time, they saw her flustered, embarrassed, and truly human. Instead of hiding, Carmen chose to sigh and said calmly, "I also lose my composure sometimes, and I am learning to do better." That moment changed the atmosphere in the house. That evening, Alejandro admitted that he often hid his mistakes because he thought his mother never made any. Sophia admitted that she often tried to appear strong just so she would not disappoint her mother. Researcher Brené Brown once said that vulnerability is not weakness, but a bridge between people. Children do not need perfect parents. They need real parents. Stoic philosophy also affirms this. A mature person is not someone who never makes mistakes, but someone who is always willing to correct mistakes and learn. When parents dare to show their imperfection, they teach their children the greatest lesson. Mistakes are not the end, they are the beginning of growth. The sixth point brings us to the most sensitive area in every family. Secrets. Not cute secrets like who sneaked cookies from the fridge, but truths that can change how children view their relatives and their family. And Carmen accidentally stumbled upon such a secret. One weekend afternoon, while sorting through old boxes, Carmen found an envelope yellowed with age. Just the first few lines made her heart tighten. It turned out that the grandfather, whom the family had always seen as a symbol of courage, had a past full of fear and regret. He had left the battlefield at the most critical moment and lived the rest of his life in shame. It was a truth Carmen had never known. She sat down holding the letter in her hands and asked herself, "Should my children know this?" Children look at adults with clear eyes. They believe in the image that parents and family create. A truth that is too heavy can sometimes fracture the most fragile parts of a child's heart. Family therapist Evan Imber Black once said that a secret can be a shield or a knife. A shield if it protects the child from unnecessary burdens. A knife if it causes the child to lose trust or carry worries that are not theirs. After many sleepless nights, Carmen decided to tell the truth, but in a way her children could understand. She did not talk about mistakes. She talked about people. She explained that everyone has moments of weakness, that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to rise even after falling. What surprised her was Alejandro's reaction. He was not disappointed. He gently asked, "How lonely did he have to be, Mom?" Psychologist Dan Siegel suggests that when parents share the truth in the right measure, children learn compassion in the ability to see people in a holistic way. Stoic philosophy also teaches that we should view the truth with reason and calmness rather than avoiding it or exaggerating it. Not every secret needs to be kept, but not every truth should a child carry. The most important thing is knowing when to share and when to let the boxes remain in the dark. The seventh point brings us to a type of pressure that is very hard to recognize because it is never spoken. It exists silently like an invisible ball hovering over the child's head. Every wish, every dream of a parent, even if unspoken, can drift into the child's mind, shaping their thoughts little by little. And that is exactly what happened with Alejandro. Alejandro is a clear example. He is passionate about painting. He can spend hours in the afternoon drawing, but Carmen always hoped he would choose a more stable path. She never said it directly. Only comments like, "Business has a great future, you know," or "You have logic just like your mother." These compliments seemed casual but created a direction Alejandro felt compelled to follow. When it came time to choose a major, he hesitated and said he might study business. Carmen was happy, thinking he had matured, but that joy disappeared when Alejandro admitted he feared making her unhappy if he chose art. Psychologist Abraham Maslow once said that every person has an inner calling that drives them to live according to their true nature. When children try to live up to their parents' expectations instead of listening to their own voice, they lose the most precious thing, the right to be themselves. Carmen understood that what her child needed was not her longing gaze, but trust. She told Alejandro that no matter which path he chose, she would stand behind him. Stoic philosophy teaches that no one has the right to decide another person's journey. Parents can only illuminate the path, not walk it for them. By letting go of those unspoken expectations, parents give their children what they deserve most, the freedom to choose. The 8th point is a forbidden zone in every family, a topic many parents never admit but is very real. It is the feeling of favoritism among siblings. It does not require loud statements or overt discrimination. Just a misplaced compliment, a longer glance, or an accidental comparison can become a thin blade cutting into the heart of the most sensitive child. One afternoon, Carmen was reviewing Sophia's homework and smiled, praising her. "I love how organized you are. I wish Alejandro worked this hard too." The words were as gentle as a breeze, but Alejandro was standing by the doorway and heard everything. He remained silent, but that evening he refused to eat and retreated to his room with a heavy heart, leaving Carmen puzzled. Psychologist Daniel Siegel has pointed out that children are highly sensitive to comparisons between siblings. They may not speak up, but the feeling of being less than can linger for a long time and directly affect self-esteem development. A study from the University of California also showed that children who experience favoritism, even lightly, have more difficulty forming healthy relationships later in life. Reflecting on this, Carmen realized she had no intention of showing favoritism. Yet she had inadvertently said something that made her child believe his place in his mother's heart was lower than his sister's. What a child needs is not comparison, but respect for their own individuality. Carmen began to change. She spoke to Alejandro about his creativity, his patience in art, and the strengths that Sophia did not have. Each child is a different flower and needs to be nurtured in their own way. Stoic philosophy teaches that fairness is not about dividing equally, but giving each person what they need to grow according to their nature. The 9th point can be seen as the most important piece in Carmen's journey as a parent. It is not advice nor a warning, it is silence. A wise silence, not to hide, but to help the child grow. Imagine that every word you speak is like a pebble thrown into a pond. Whether small or large, it creates ripples that spread far. But if you stop, if you do not throw another pebble, the water becomes calm and reflects everything more clearly. Silence in parenting is like that water. When parents are silent at the right moment, children have space to think for themselves and shape their own responses. Carmen realized this on a very ordinary afternoon. The 2 children were arguing in the living room. On any other day, she would have rushed in to mediate, explain, and give advice. But that day, for a fleeting moment, she stopped. She simply observed from a distance without intervening, and the unexpected happened. After a few tense minutes, the 2 children found a way to reconcile on their own without their mother saying a word. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said that the greatest gift we can give to others is our full attention. But sometimes that attention is not expressed through words, but through calm presence. A study from the University of California also showed that children whose parents listen more than they speak develop better emotional self-regulation and higher self-esteem. From that day on, Carmen practiced pausing before speaking. When her children complained, she listened first. When they were sad, she let them name their own emotions before offering any advice. Her silence was not neglect, but a space for her children to stand tall on their own. Stoic philosophy reminds us that speaking less, but at the right time, is always wiser than speaking more without thought. A parent's wise silence serves as a mirror, helping children see themselves more clearly. Looking back at the 9 points we have explored together, you will realize an important truth that many parents only understand too late. The things that hurt children are not always harsh words. Sometimes they are seemingly harmless remarks, untimely sharing, unspoken expectations, or a moment when you accidentally compare your child without even remembering saying it. But for children, these small things can become silent scratches that linger for many years. Carmen realized that parenting is not about being a perfect mother. It is about knowing when to pause, when to remain silent, when to speak, and most importantly, knowing how to see your child as an independent individual finding their own path. Children do not need a saint. Children need a companion who listens, loves, and learns alongside them. Stoicism teaches that happiness is not about controlling others, but about controlling yourself. Parenting is the same. You cannot control every thought of your child, but you can control your words. You cannot prevent your child from making mistakes, but you can create a safe enough environment for them to rise stronger after each fall. If you have watched this far, leave a reminder for yourself in the comments by saying, "I choose wisdom." This will be a sign that you truly want to become the best version of a parent you can be. Do not forget to hit like to spread this value and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss the next Stoic lessons. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. You deserve peace and clarity on the sacred journey of raising your children.